Rashida Tlaib is on stage, and this is, again, at one of these Bernie Sanders rallies. And Rashida Tlaib leads the crowd in booing Hillary Clinton. So this you can, so here's the thing. You can get away with this in a primary when you look like you're running against the party establishment. This is what Donald Trump did in 2016, right? He ran against the party establishment. He ran against Jeb. He ran against the so-called higher ups, the Romneyites and all of this. And he was able to capture the party. But in the general election, the party rallied behind him simply out of opposition. I don't know, as much as the Democrats hate Trump, I don't know that in the swing states they hate Trump nearly that much. I think that most of the Democratic hatred for Trump is in real blue areas, not in those purple areas. I think Trump is unliked, but I don't think that he's disliked. I don't think that he's quite as polarizing as the Democrats think he is, such that they can be Rashida Tlaib and win a national election on this basis. Here's Rashida Tlaib, who is undermining unity inside her own party, actively booing Hillary Clinton, leading boos for the Democratic Party nominee who won the most popular votes in 2016. Talk about female solidarity here. Here goes Rashida Tlaib directly after Hillary Clinton.
Iowa, we have 3 days. I don't remember if you guys remember last week when someone by the name of Hillary Clinton said that we're not going to boo. We're classy here. We're classy.
I'll boo. Boo.
She's so woke.
You all know I can't be quiet. No, we're going to boo. That's all right. The haters will shut up on Monday when we win.
Okay, and everybody is laughing and everybody is cheering and Ilhan Omar is laughing. And Jayapal is laughing. Okay, that's amazing. First of all, I wish I had a bowl of popcorn right here because I would just be shoveling it in my mouth right now. Just give me that popcorn, because the Bernie versus Hillary thing didn't end. It never is going to end. And the fact that Rashida Tlaib ripped that scab right off because she is the dumbest politician in Washington, D.C. I mean, she's truly awful. It is incredible. And this is the Bernie campaign. Right? This is the draw of the Bernie campaign is we're building a movement. But the problem is you don't actually see modulated Bernie on the campaign stump. You don't see that in the marketing materials, right? The kind of subtle Bernie that you see on the campaign stump, you don't actually see that when you've got people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar making this case. So Rashida Tlaib tried to back away from this and suggest, no, it was wrong for me to boo Hillary Clinton. I really shouldn't have done this. And then Michael Moore, of course, jumped into the fray and defended Rashida Tlaib. There's a picture for you. He says, so proud of my longtime friend from Michigan who spoke the truth last night at the Bernie rally in Clive, Iowa. The audience booed Hillary, and then somebody tried to shush them, and Rashida said, don't shush them, boo Hillary and anyone else who doesn't speak the truth. So they are just ripping the scab off. They're going directly at the quote-unquote establishment Democratic Party, which, of course, is scaring the daylights out of the Democratic Party as they face up against Donald Trump. And this is what the American people are going to see. They're not going to see Bernie on the stump for 2 hours. Again, I watched that rally. Most people are not going to watch a 2-hour Bernie rally. They're not. Instead, what you're going to get is Bernie calling for the complete destruction of the American way of life, and his surrogates like Ilhan Omar doing the same thing. So Ilhan Omar was on the stump for Bernie Sanders, and she described how disappointed she was to see homelessness in America. Now, let me just point out, this human being moved to the United States and was taken in as a refugee by a kind and generous country from Somalia. And she's complaining about how unfair America is because she's seen homeless people here. Do you have any idea how insanely ungrateful this is? It is one thing to say America needs to do better to solve the homelessness crisis. I agree, we do, although the policies she's promoting won't do any of that. But for her to say that she came here and she saw the homelessness in America and she was disappointed, I hate to break it to Ilhan Omar, but half of Somalia is basically homeless, if not more. I mean, it is a failed state. It is a failed state in which terrorist groups run rampant. But she was 12 and she was very disappointed that she saw a guy living in a tent in the middle of Fifth Avenue. I mean, really, just what a tough life she has led. The ingratitude of the people associated with Bernie and Bernie's ingratitude. You live in the greatest country in the history of the world, and all you can do is bitch about it. It really is sickening. Here's Ilhan Omar doing that.
When I first came to the United States, I remember one of the first things that I saw was homeless people sleeping on the sides of Manhattan when we arrived in New York. And I remember turning to my father and saying, this doesn't look like the America you promised. And my father said, hush, child, we're going to get to our America.
This is, hush, child, we're going to get to our America. Okay, so you're like, what? You came from Somalia and your first move was, I can't believe I see a homeless person. Again, like maybe your first move should be, what an amazing country. Now, we've got problems here. Let's see if we can solve them. But if your first move is, what a terrible place. I see homeless people. You are from Somalia. My God. I mean, just how about like a moment of gratitude? Before you get to all the problems with America, and there are many, before you get to that, how about like a moment of America's fantastic? Because guess what? America's pretty damned fantastic. It really is. This is the part of the Bernie Sanders campaign that is the seamy underbelly that the people who feel like they're joining a movement are missing, which is that most Americans actually like this country. Most Americans don't think that the country needs quote unquote fundamental change. That even Barack Obama subsumed his fundamental change rhetoric beneath the guise of a serious racial problem, right? He said, we need fundamental change. And then it was the idea that he in his personage was the fundamental change because he was half black and he was half white. He was going to unify us around race. He didn't do any of that, but that was the fundamental promise. When Bernie Sanders says fundamental change, you don't need to decode what he is saying. His fundamental change is, I want to completely overthrow the way the United States was created. I want to completely overthrow everything about the United States. I mean, the guy was literally drinking shirtless in the Soviet Union in 1988. I mean, that's actual tape of Bernie Sanders, right? This is who this man is. So when he says fundamental change, a rational person says, okay, the fundamental change I see is the fundamental change of destroying capitalism, destroying the greatest economy in the history of the world, destroying free markets and individual rights. Okay, that's what most Americans see. Now, the problem is in a Democratic primary, that ain't going to hold. In a Democratic primary, that's not enough to stop him. Because the only Democrats, like really, there could be a Democrat who was willing to come out this way and really bash Bernie, but they were all doing the same routine that Republicans did with Trump in 2016. Facts don't care about your feelings, and it's a fact that The Ben Shapiro Show is the largest conservative podcast in the nation. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our content.